What is up, guys? I'm Dappz. This is Dappz Sports. We've been doing fantasy sports, gambling, and we've been doing sports cards. This is the sports cards page. I'm not doing well in gambling. I shouldn't be giving any advice. Maybe I'll talk about it going forward. Fantasy sports, I'm actually doing very well. Maybe we'll talk about that a little. But let's get back to basics here. We're just going to go over sports cards. Again, maybe I'll pepper in some fantasy sports and some gambling plays. But I'm going to lead with sports cards. We're going to finish with sports cards. We're going to talk about sports cards. On this episode, we're going to go through a couple quarterbacks. We're going to go through the power rankings of the NFL and see which QBs we think there might be value in by using our good old friend eBay. All right, guys, let's jump into it. I have the Jukes Week 8 power rankings. I don't know who Jukes is. We just found some power rankings. Maybe you don't like these power rankings. I think they're pretty solid. Chiefs are number one in my book. They've been number one all season, even with the loss to the Lions. Eagles look strong, just dominated the Dolphins. Ravens coming along. Jags, I don't know about the Jags. We'll see. Niners not looking good. Bills falling from grace. Dolphins play the Eagles. A lot of uncertainty in the NFL. I like when teams are not undefeated because the undefeated talk all season, they're the best team in the league, etc. We saw last week the Niners lose to the Vikings. They lost the week before that to the Browns. The week before that, everyone was telling me, or at least I was reading online in the comments, just crown the Niners right now. It's like, do you know how many teams have been 5-0 in the history of football? A lot. And I mean, the Patriots, I made this point last week. The Patriots were 18-0 with Tom Brady. They lost. They lost in the Super Bowl. So I don't care if you're 10-0, doesn't really matter. You got to be hot going into the playoffs. You got to be in sync as a team. You got to not have injuries. And now what I want to do with everybody is kind of go through these teams. I want to go through these teams and their quarterbacks. And the reason we're going to do that is whichever two teams are in the Super Bowl, those quarterbacks' prices, if they're young QBs, are going to go up significantly. Why do I say young QBs? For example, 2 years ago when Joe Burrow played Matt Stafford, not to say Matt Stafford's prices didn't go up, but it's not as exciting to invest in a player like Stafford, who's at the tail end of his career or past his prime, where Joe Burrow, third year in the league, second year in the league, he's in the Super Bowl, you invest in his cards, he ends up winning, now he's got a ring, that's a big deal, that's why you would invest in a player like Burrow. So, you've got, to round out this list, Mahomes. We're not going to go through too much Mahomes. We did that a couple weeks ago. We've also gone over Jalen Hurts and Lamar, but we will check out their pricing. We'll go over Trevor Lawrence today. Brock Purdy we've talked about as well, and because of his play over the last couple weeks, we'll probably stay off him. Josh Allen dipping to the 6th spot. Tua, probably value there in the 7. And then you're going into Dak, Goff, and Deshaun Watson, PJ Walker. So we'll go over some quarterbacks. We might leave some off. That doesn't mean that they don't deserve, looking at. But what I want you guys to focus on if you're watching this video is not necessarily the players that I'm showing you, just the tools that we're giving you guys and girls to research how to find value in players. So, for example, we're going to use these odds right here, right? So the Chiefs are plus 450. Now, they might be Super Bowl favorites, but a lot of these teams are in the mix to win, right? Now, you go all the way down here to the Bengals, right? The Bengals are plus 2,800, 2 years removed from the Super Bowl. Some people would say there's a lot of value there, right? Not to say the Bengals can beat any of these teams, but if Joe Burrow turns it around and starts playing well and the Bengals get in sync, are you really going to be surprised? I'm not, as a football fan, going to be surprised if Joe Burrow starts winning games. That's not surprising to me. So, again, Bengals have been there already. I like that plus 2,800 value play. We're talking about almost a 7x of what the Chiefs are going to pay you out. And I don't think that that translates. If Joe Burrow played Mahomes in the playoffs, I think that comes down to a 50-50, 60-40 split on who's going to win that game. Whereas these odds are plus 28 versus plus 400. Again, a lot has to happen for the Bengals to play the Chiefs in the playoffs. Just saying, I think there's value there. Now, I'll hop back to the rankings. Let's go over, we're going to start in the 4th spot with the Jaguars. And again, if you're new here and you don't know how to search on eBay, you can just do a simple search of Trevor Lawrence. And what you'll find out about eBay is when you search a player's name, guess what, guys? All sports cards. Nothing else, right? Oh, excuse me. Topps 21 Trevor Lawrence Sun box. That counts as sports cards too. But as you can see, the most bought and sold item on eBay when you search a player are going to be their sports cards. Now, we're going to do a more refined search, right? We're going to add PSA 10 to the end. PSA 10 is just a graded slab. Again, some people who have been watching for a while, I understand you know what PSA slab is, but there's a lot of people who are new, who are entering the hobby, and we want to educate and help them out. And also, we've heard fanatics say they want to 10x the hobby, and in order to 10x the hobby, you need 10x the amount of people who might not know what they're doing. So I will speak in your ABC terms here, okay? So guys, you're gonna write Trevor Lawrence PSA 10, and if you want to get an even more refined search, you can enter an actual number as well. And that number, if you click here, is the card number, right? Boom, 331. So now it's just going to return all of those. Now the reason we did that for this particular search is I just want to show you guys what these cards are selling for. You're going to scroll down over here on your left above me. Where is it? Over this way. See there? Click sold items. Boom. And now we're going to get the prices of Trevor Lawrence. This is his base right here above my head, all right? And then you go, wow, that's 280 bucks. Then you see 4,500. What the hell is going on? Same card, right? Not really. Okay, we're going to click this. This is a green shimmer, first off the line exclusive. All right, the reason this one is $4,000 is there's only 5 of this card printed in the whole world. This is number 4 of 5, and guess what? Of 5 cards on Earth, it also got a PSA 10. All right, so this is a pretty card. Some would argue a color match with that green, 4,500 bucks. We're gonna stay off that card for a minute. Now, this right here, this sale on October 28th at 238 bucks. That's his true rookie card. This is his true rookie card down at 175. Best offer accepted. Again, we don't love best offer accepted sales as true sales. I want to see an auction with bids, and then I want to see multiple auctions with bids. The reason we use Prism base on these videos is because they're the most bought and sold cards of any player. So that's how you get that true market price of a card. That's why we're doing that, okay? So again, 230, okay, 14 bids, 235. We saw 175 earlier, 265 best offer accepted, 224. We'll say the average price is somewhere around 220 bucks. If you want to go 200 because of that 175 sale, I'm cool there too. So Trevor Lawrence base Prism PSA 10 is selling at $200. Now we need to figure out, okay, power rankings. Who is going to win in the playoffs? And this is where you can make money if you have a good eye. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know who's going to be in the Super Bowl. There's a lot of teams I like on this list. The easiest thing to do is go, oh, Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl again. Mahomes is amazing. That might be true, but the problem with that is Mahomes' price is already so high because he's so good. He's got 2 MVPs. He's got Super Bowls. He's got rings. He owns half the Royals or whatever the number is, right? So Mahomes is difficult to invest in. So we're trying to figure out who's the next guy. Who's the next guy who can either challenge Mahomes? And remember, Joe Burrow's price went ballistic when he went to the Super Bowl. He did not even win the Super Bowl. He just went, and his price skyrocketed. And my opinion is not all these players' prices are going to skyrocket, but if they're in the playoffs and they win 1 game even or 2 games, their price will have a 10, 20, 30% increase. So you need to be aware of that, and you need to think about, okay, let's look right here real quick at ESPN standings. Boom. I like to go to standings, and I like to go to playoff. Boom. Right? Now you're going to get your nice little American Football Conference, AFC, top 7, right? 7 teams are going to make the playoffs right here. So you got to think about, what does this top 7 look like at the end of the season? Who's in it? And then off of that, who are the playmakers? First, you got to go quarterback in sports cards for sure. But listen, there's money to be made on a receiver or running back if you think they can have a big game. I'm going to say stick to quarterbacks in the beginning until you really know what you're doing. So who's going to be in that top 7? I'm a Jets fan. Can the Jets make the playoffs? Is Aaron Rodgers going to come back? Probably not. But, I like to suffer. That's what Jets fans do. Jets, Mets, Knicks fans. We'll see what happens. Now you got Joey Burrito, Joey Burr. Joe Burrow's in the 10 spot right now. Could be a lot of value there. We'll see. Herbert is down here in the 14 spot. Isn't that wild? Herbert in the 14. Mac Jones down here. Russell Wilson. So, listen, guys. These guys, nobody's paying attention to anybody down here. If you think any of those teams can turn it around, could be a potential investment, right? Now we'll check out the NFC real quick, too. You got Jalen Hurts. You got Jared Goff. Purdy. Desmond Ridder. Can he win a playoff game? I don't like it. I hate everybody in that division. At the moment, I don't think anybody can really win out of there. Geno Smith, I don't know. Seahawks look pretty strong sometimes. Can they win the playoffs? You got Dak here. Kirk Cousins is on the comeback. Sam Howell not looking great. Derek Carr. Jordan Love not looking great. And then the bottom of the barrel. Now, I'll admit, too, I got a ton of money invested in Justin Fields. Doesn't look good right now. I'm going to have to hold that bag. To make it back. So we'll see. Trevor Lawrence, back to him, $200. All right, now let's hop over to Jalen Hurts. Again, Jalen Hurts, PSA 10, 343. Sold items. What is he trading at? $76. Holy moly. Okay, $85, 125, 135. What does this say, guys? This screams at me. Invest in Jalen Hurts. Invest in Jalen Hurts. This guy gets no respect. And I want to ask you a question. I want to pose a question to Instagram, to TikTok, to whoever. If the Philadelphia Eagles were to win the Super Bowl, who is going to win the MVP over Jalen Hurts on that team? Really? And listen, you can say, A.J. Brown, Darius Slay, Hassan Reddick. Sure, maybe if they have an incredible game, but they have to do a lot. Where Jalen Hurts could throw 1 or 2 touchdown passes and get, tush-pushed, brotherly loved into the end zone once or twice. He's got 3 or 4 touchdowns. If Jalen Hurts has 3 touchdowns, any combo of rushing and passing, he's winning MVP. That's it. So I really like Jalen Hurts if he's trading at $75. Now, why is that important? If Trevor Lawrence is trading at $200 and Jalen Hurts is trading at $75, or even if you want to call it $100, you got to call it $80. $100 here, $75 here. You got $130 here, $125. All right, we'll call it $100. He's half the price of Trevor Lawrence. Jalen Hurts is half the price of Trevor Lawrence with, in my opinion, a way higher probability of making it to the Super Bowl. So, let's see. Jaguars are plus 2,200, and the Eagles are plus 550. So Vegas is saying that the Eagles at this current moment are 4 times more likely to reach the Super Bowl than the Jaguars. Now, if cards translated just like this, Jalen Hurts would be roughly 4 times the price of Trevor Lawrence. That's not the case. People in the card market value Trevor Lawrence over Jalen Hurts, and I think that could be an error, and that's where there's value. So you end up buying or investing in some Jalen Hurts. He makes it to the Super Bowl. He plays well. His price goes up. Think about it like this. Could Jalen Hurts' base prism be $200? Because if you buy 10 $100 cards, he makes the Super Bowl, they go to 200, you just doubled your money, right? And that's what I think happens on the low end of this, right? On the low end, it only doubles in price. Now, the Eagles got to make the Super Bowl. Is that going to happen? No guarantees. So again, don't listen to me. Figure out who's going to be in the Super Bowl. Invest in that guy. All right, now we're going to look at Lamar. Lamar is trading at 195, 300. I'm going to buy it now. Don't love it. 250. Silver, 180, 165, 180. So Trevor Lawrence and Lamar Jackson are very similar in price. Lamar Jackson has an MVP. Trevor Lawrence doesn't. I think Lamar Jackson's on a better team. If Trevor Lawrence wins a Super Bowl or an MVP, they should still be at the same price point, you would think, right? If Lamar Jackson and Trevor Lawrence both had an MVP, they should trade at the same price, roughly. Now, the NFL and the sports card market is definitely a what have you done for me lately league. Lamar Jackson is 4 years removed from that MVP. So I get it, but I'm talking about long-term value as well. Are you holding this card? Now, let's also do a little, see what's the highest selling card. Okay, you have a Lamar Jackson white sparkle that went for 3K. Let's see if we can find a Trevor Lawrence white sparkle. PSA 10 white sparkle. See, this is wild to me. White sparkle rookie Trevor Lawrence, $8,400. And Lamar got 3K. So, as a investor, if I had the option to buy either of those guys at those two prices, I'm buying Lamar Jackson every single time at 3K over T-Law at 8. With no disrespect to Trevor Lawrence, but less than half the value with an MVP on a strong team. Again, guys, are you really going to be surprised if the Ravens made some noise in the playoffs and got it together? You're not going to be surprised. The Ravens are a good team. Harbaugh already has a Super Bowl ring. He's always in the playoffs in his career. I think he's missed it once, maybe. I don't know. Fact check me on that. But 3K white sparkle Lamar Jackson or 8K white sparkle Trevor Lawrence. What are you buying? All right, and now we'll go look at Joey Burrow. Joe Burr, let's see what he's trading at. His number prism is 307, PSA 10, sold items. See where we're at. Okay. 164, 167. Guys, it's looking like Joe Burrow is cheaper than Trevor Lawrence right now. Extremely interesting. I watched Joe Burrow skyrocket. Let's do a white sparkle. White sparkle Joe Burrow. Doesn't look like we can find one. White sparkle Joe Burrow. Nobody sold one on eBay? Alright guys, well we can't find a, let's see if there's another white sparkle prism Joe Burrow. Okay, so it looks like this Burrow sold for 9K. So Burrow 9K, Trevor Lawrence 8K, Lamar Jackson 3K. One of them has an MVP. Now, you know what I want to do now? Let's go back to Lamar. Let's look off of sold. All right, let's see live. Lamar Jackson, white sparkle. Anybody got one? White sparkle BGS 95, $6,500. So remember, guys, this guy's listing this card in a BGS 95 for $6,500. The last sold is 3K at a PSA 10. So this is what you have to be aware of. People just list and make up prices, right? And they put them on eBay and they hope it sells. Now listen, a white sparkle is super rare. So if one sells for 3K, one sells for 6K 2 or 3 months apart, that's also not uncommon in sports cards. But again, if you're negotiating with somebody, you have that sale now to go, hey, the value of this card is closer to 3K. I'm not going to give you $6,500. Where can we meet in the middle at, right? Maybe you give $3,500 offer. Then you give a $4,000 offer. Settle somewhere around there. All right, let's go back to Joe Burrow. See what his most expensive rookie card has sold for. The highest sale is September 5th, goes for $7,600 on the black and white. Blue Prism 7K, Blue Eyes 6. All right, guys, so at the moment, it looks like there's a tremendous amount of value in Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. Now, let's do this together. I want to see Jalen Hurts. We're going to get rid of the PSA 10 here. And we're going to get rid of the 343. Okay? Now, I want to go to auctions. All right, so when you search, look at this. 7,300 results for Jalen Hurts, and almost all of those are sports cards, guys. So that goes to show you how many cards, how many sports cards are bought and sold on eBay every single day of the week. This is just one player, 7,300 listings for Jalen Hurts. A lot of people trade sports cards, guys, a lot. Okay, so Jalen Hurts, we're gonna go to auctions, and that's gonna drop that 7,600 to 6,100, which is what we want to see. Now, also, so this is his NT at a 25, which I do like, but I don't like zero bids. So we're going to go to advanced up here, and we're going to click minimum bid count 1, search, and now we're going to drop down to 893 results. Okay, this is cool. 910. Jalen Hurts cracked ice. Gem 10. So I'm not a huge contenders guy. This contenders optic though is pretty. You gotta like that one. 2K. I'd really like to find like a PSA 10. Jalen Hurts, low numbered, good product. Good product for me is Prism, National Treasures, Contenders Optic, maybe Contenders. And I'm not dissing Contenders to all of our sports cards fans out there, just not my cup of tea compared to a Prism or an NT card. Downtowns are obviously ridiculous. Kabooms are ridiculous. These two cards right here, the rookie Kaboom Jalen Hurts and the rookie Downtown Jalen Hurts, regardless of the player, those are going to be not easy to sell, but you're always going to be able to find a buyer at the market price for those. They're always sought after. So if Jalen Hurts does make it to the playoffs, whatever the price of this particular card is going for right now, it's going to be easy to line up a buyer at a higher price point if he's in the Super Bowl. So again, let's just open this in a new tab. All right. And we're going to search Hurts Downtown Optic. We're going to go to sold items right here. And a PSA 9 or raw is going for 990 to $1,000. So we'll call it 1,000. And let's just see what a PSA 10 is going for. At the moment, we've got 2,200 bucks, 2,100 bucks. So we'll call it 2,100 bucks. So this listing right here is going to end at somewhere around $2,100. And my opinion is if Jalen Hurts were to end up in the Super Bowl, that card's going to be way closer to 4 grand. All right, with the potential for more. Maybe it goes to 3 only, but I'd be surprised if it doesn't double in price if he goes to the Super Bowl. So that's how you look at that. Downtown, Kaboom, if you got the cash, definitely a card that is going to be safer than others because it's going to be more liquid. You're going to be able to find a buyer for those. Jalen Hurts Color Blast as well, case hit. Now, as you can see, the case hit on the Color Blast, horizontal card. Color Blast still gets a tremendous amount of respect, even for being horizontal. But those vertical cards, they just command more money. And I think part of the reason for that is the PSA case and all cases are designed vertically. So when you display them, it just looks a little bit nicer, a little bit more appealing to the eye. Now you got the autograph wild card PSA 10. Panini Black Jalen Hurts 101. That's cool. So nothing here that I love. Wow. Jalen Hurts doesn't have a color blast. Rookie. Wow. The disrespect of Jalen Hurts continues. That's crazy. Guys, a lot of opportunity in Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' first color blast might be in 21? No way. Then they don't give him a color blast in 21 either. Holy moly. Panini, panini, panini. What's going on? You learn something new every day, guys. I'm glad we got to learn this together. Maybe some of you already knew this, my card aficionados. So his first color blast is 22, guys. 22. That's wild. PSA 91 for 2,200 and a PSA. So this guy stole this card. If this is a true sale, this guy got a PSA 10 at 2K. This is Jalen Hurts' first color blast. Produced by Prism. He's not in 2020, his rookie year. He's not in 21 either. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Now we gotta see something else, guys. We need to figure out what the pop count is on this card. Let's find out what the pop count is on this card. Shout out pop count. There's 16 PSA 10s. So, very, very interesting. Sorry we couldn't give you the color blast comparison on Burrow and Jalen Hurts rookies because they don't exist. Jalen Hurts did not get a color blast until 2022 Prism. And there's only 16 PSA 10s. Jalen Hurts does not get a rookie Prism Color Blast or a second year Prism Color Blast. First year Prism Color Blast, 2022. Is the hobby considering this his rookie Prism Color Blast? Is it his first year Prism Color Blast? Is there another name that I'm unaware of that you guys can let me know? Comment. Let me know. What is the name of this? What do you do with this? What do you call this? The disrespect of Jalen Hurts continues. All right, everybody. Now we're going to go to the bottom of the standings to finish off this episode. LA Chargers. Let's see what our good friend Justin Herbert is trading at. Justin Herbert, Prism 325. Throw a PSA 10 on there. And Herbert's trading at 125-ish. So $100, $100, $100. Herbert's down, guys. Herbert's really down. So, as he should be, though. Herbert's not looking like he's going to make the playoffs at this moment. Could they? Sure. Guess what? Guess who's in your division, Herbert? Patrick Mahomes. And you did not look good against him last week. So, Herbie. I know a lot of Herbie collectors. And I was high on Herbie, but I don't know if he's off, if Staley just sucks. Justin Herbert, not looking good. The Chargers are plus 4,000 to win the Super Bowl. I think they should be plus more than that. Yikes. And then you know what we'll also look at before the episode's over? Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's rookie's going for 150. I remember trading these guys at $900. These red, white, blues. Dak Prescott, right around Jalen Hurts, maybe a little more expensive. Can anybody out of the NFC East make it? Here's a question. Are you buying Jalen Hurts at $100 or are you buying Dak Prescott at $120? Cowboys-Eagles debate right now. Eagles are 6-1. Cowboys are 4-2. Cowboys are going to play the Rams, and then they're going to play the Eagles the week after. It's going to be a good game. As a football fan, I'm ready to watch. Looking like the Eagles have the edge at the moment after that strong win against the Dolphins. We will see. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Please send me questions. You can send them to dappsports@gmail.com. You can put them in the comments of the YouTube or any Instagram video you see. We appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. I'm dominating fantasy. I hope you guys are as well. I'm not dominating gambling. I think I'm going to take a break. Take a gambling break. Just ease off. Basketball's on, baseball's on, football's on. There's too much to gamble on. I need to stay in my lane. Sports cards. Get like prime time. Before there was Coach Prime, there was prime time. Tales from Deion Sanders' story NFL career. I need to stay in my prime time, stay in my zone. Don't let the noise affect me. Guys, woosah, goose rabah, whatever it is that gets you going. Appreciate all you guys. I will see you next week.